Good day. Happy New Year. Happy New Year because it's the new year. I'm wearing my Renaissance hat. The Renaissance, rebirth, new year. And so today I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. And I want to affirm the fact that this is going to be a good year, a year of breakthroughs. And I also just want to share some thoughts about good guys and bad guys. And I'm not using the term guys in a sense of men. It's inclusive, men and women, and I'm not actually using it just to include human beings, but I'm also including disincarnate entities, whether they're like angels or gods or archetypes, or also going to include in this whether they be physical or non-physical space aliens. In other words, all of those beings that have energy and form that are disincarnate entities, or entities that we do not normally experience in everyday consciousness on Earth. I'm including them also in this category of guys. So, what I'm addressing now actually is a question of good and evil, because I'm saying, that there are good guys and that there are bad guys. And I'm not going to give a definitive answer to this question, but I am going to just draw a line here and say that on the one hand, good entities and good people, they respect others, and they have a sense of empathy, and so they live in the world and they have a faculty of compassion. So when they do things or when they live their life, they seek to do it in a way that respects other people, that benefits other people, and that benefits the whole. Now, that doesn't mean that they're perfect. They may have their periods of time when they indulge in self-gratification or satisfaction of their own desires. But when they do, they still have a sense and try to be conscious that they do it in a way that they don't disrespect other people, that they don't violate other people, they don't they act in a way that is beneficial to others, and still within a framework that, generally speaking, is beneficial to the whole. And ideally, you live in that world, like where you're doing that, and you reap the fruits of your actions, and you experience self-gratification and satisfaction of your desires and everything within the context of, fulfilling others, Now, on the other hand, when we jump over to the category of bad guys, then here I feel like there's something that has happened where people lack a sense of empathy. It's like Alfred Adler said, everybody has translated as a will to power or a will to self-expression. And that needs to be balanced by the sense of empathy. A person with no empathy tends to be sociopathic or psychopathic. And I don't want to go into too much of an analysis on the particular thing. Would like to be more enlightened on it myself. But if people don't have a sense of compassion and they don't respect others, and then they act only out of need, so they're acting out of need, and need tends to translate into greed. If you're living a life of need, then the chances are that you're going to suffer from greed. And also, lacking a sense of empathy, there's a sense of disconnectedness. It's like a sense of unawareness to a large degree of the feeling and the state of others and of the universe as a whole. And so the thing that people are preoccupied primarily with is just themselves then, and then in pursuing the things that gratify the self, power and pleasure, then those things in themselves, that that you engage in it, and then they actually can come to control you. So people who are good and beings that are good they do things out of a sense of love and compassion. And they do things in such a way that they respect others' freedom and volition, and they do it in a way that they want to help others and for things to be for the benefit of the whole. When we talk about the bad guys, we're talking about the people who don't respect others, are willing to, violate other people's volition and will, not because they think that it's good for the other person, but because it satisfies a want of theirs. That's, kind of a distinction that I'm making, that people can use in a way to evaluate good and evil. And the good people, they generally want to go the way of love and truth. And the bad people, they generally, a lot of times, because living that kind of way, a way of like domination, seeking to dominate others, then it's like you use means, that are not honorable. You manipulate people, and in particular, you become associated with the lie. You end up you start out by prevaricating, you go into lying, and then pretty soon you start lying. Then you're lying to yourself because you still want to justify what you're doing. So that's not a good way. And then in living life, generally speaking, we want to associate with good people, people of the truth, people of the way. You can't associate. You can't have any kind of significant relationship with a person of the lie. Honest people, it's very difficult to associate with. It's not healthy to associate with dishonest people. So, but still, having a sense of empathy and compassion, you care about these people. It's not like your sense of judgment demands that they be destroyed. If your sense of what you want them to be is like Jesus said, a mission of reconciliation. So how can we do this? Because you're respecting them, you can't force them to change, right? But we all are subordinate to spirit. And so what I recommend is lift the situations, lift the people up into the light so that spirit can deal with it in a non-judgmental way, because you may not know what is best. Your perspective and your point of view, your sense of judgment may not be absolutely correct. So you lift it up into the light, lift it up to the spirit, turn it over to God, and pray that His will can be done. Then your heart is open, you're free. Then in one way or another, the Spirit is working, and you may be called upon in some way to act, and you'll know that it's the right thing. You won't be confused. So lift it up to the Spirit, On the other hand, it may be something like where that serenity prayer says, give me the wisdom to accept the things that I cannot change. It may not be in your power to change it. That doesn't mean it won't change. Everything changes. World is king. Everything changes. So, Happy New Year, everybody, and I hope that I didn't talk so long that I became boring. But I wish you well this year. And I hope that you have a good year and that you progress in becoming everything that you are as a good person, and that we can attune ourselves to goodness and operate on a principle of compassion, love, and respect for others. Happy New Year.